I haven't done a lot of reviews on my channel just because I felt like I didn't know enough to review most things. You know, I'm fairly new to paints, fairly new to brushes. I can review them as a first-time user, but that's just kind of where it stops. I haven't been using them long enough to be like, this is actually good or this is actually bad or anything like that. I can just give you my opinions. Well, that changes a little bit today because today I'm actually going to be talking about Wargamer Resin. I've been printing for a couple years and I've been doing and using a lot of different types of resin. So I feel like this one, yeah, I actually can review. And it's a good one. Okay, so let's review this. I've got 5 different things that I want to talk about with it, and I'll give it a score out of 5 for each one, and we'll just say 0 is the worst and 5 is the best, and at the end, we'll hopefully have a total that's, you know, within 25. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about was the smell. Okay, if you're printing with resin and it's anywhere near a room in your house or something like that, you're going to smell it. When you clean it, you're going to smell it. I mean, let's be honest, you're gonna smell the print at some point in time or another unless you're wearing like a full-on hazmat suit or something like that. Okay, and with that being said, most resins have kind of a peculiar smell to them. And this one is no exception. If anything, I found this one smelling almost like paint, which to me is kind of a welcome smell. In comparison to, you know, other stuff that just, honestly, it smells like some sort of toxic chemical, which it is, right? And so this one for me was just something funny, but it stuck out to me so much that I was like, I gotta say something about it. But yeah, it almost has like a paint-like smell to it. And so, you know, just kind of keep that in mind. You know that smelling paint isn't necessarily good, so maybe that's a good thing because this will kind of help you to remind you that this isn't something that you should be smelling all the time, especially other people in your family. So as far as smell goes, well, it's definitely not a good smell, but it's not a horrible smell either. It could be way worse. I've done other resins that are way worse, and I've done some that don't smell at all. And so honestly, I'm going to give this like a 3 because it's not a bad smell, but it's not no smell either. It's like paint. So just kind of take that as you will. Number 2. This is like the real one, okay? This is the quality. I'm printing with a 4K printer. It's my Voxelab Proxima 6, okay? And it is by no means an incredibly highly detailed printer. It's 4K, you know, but they have 8K. I've even seen people talking about like 12K printers and stuff like that. It is not that type of printer. And I feel like the quality kind of has to go with the printer that you have, but again, I've been printing on this thing for over a year on this specific printer, and as far as quality goes, these are some of the crispiest, cleanest prints that I have ever gotten. I'm not going to go and say that it's just like crazy, and you know, as far as like the thickness of the resin, it's right up there with any other resin I've used. It's not like a thinner resin or anything like that, but the quality is good. I'd give it a 5 as far as quality goes because it's as good, if not better, than anything else that I've ever printed. Number 3, cleanup. This is the one that for me is just huge. I've never used a water washable resin. Okay, I've always used alcohol. And I got to point this out too, I guess, before anything else. They say right on the back to read the instructions explicit. Okay, to read the instructions on their website. And you go to their website, and there are some different things about this resin that I've seen from others. And among those, you can clean it with alcohol, you can clean it with water. So, you know, I thought, oh, I'll try both just to kind of see. And I have, like I said, I've never used water washable resin, and it's a game changer. Like the whole washing and curing station and things like that. I feel like water washing, if you can go outside and wash it in like a tub sink or something like that in your garage, you literally take these things from the plate to your garage, clean them off, pull off the supports and everything, and you leave them to dry. And it takes a fraction of the time that it normally does. So for me, the cleanup on this was fantastic. While we're talking about those like instructions that they had on here, I do have to point out a couple other things. what separates this from other resin, and we'll talk about a couple things too. But one of the things that separates it is that they want you to cure your stuff for a long time, like 10 minutes, long time. They want you to make sure that it is highly cured. And they also want you to wait 24 hours before trying to do stuff after you've cured it. And what I mean by that is one of the big claims to fame for Wargamer Resin is that it prints and it's like plastic. In that, you can print these little guy and his sword can bend. But the weapons and things like that, they bend and they don't break. But they tell you, right in the instructions, to let it be for 24 hours before you start messing with it like that. They say that the curing process takes that long. And so it separates them from other companies out there, as far as I've seen. But almost everything else is pretty similar. Cleaning it with alcohol, you can do the same thing. Honestly, if you can clean something with water, why wouldn't you? It's safer, it's better, so just kind of keep that in mind. And so for me, cleanup on these, 5. It was incredible. It was so easy, and it made printing easier and, honestly, more fun for me. So yeah, cleanup is great. Now, number 4 on my list is durability, and like I just showed you, these things are pretty durable as far as models go. They have weight to them, as resin does, and because of that, I mean, they're probably a lot heavier than most of your plastic models, and so it's important that they're durable. I dropped them. I dropped them a few times just off my desk. I'm not going to drop them off a ladder or anything like that because...
Why would anyone do that to themselves?
Hopefully you're not climbing ladders with your miniatures. But if you're walking around and it falls off a table, none of these broke. They all bounced right back. Normally resin can be super brittle, especially if you cure it for a long time. This stuff is not that way. So as far as durable miniatures go, I mean, they're fine. No cracks, no breaks. A lot more durable than I have seen in others. So yeah, I'll give them a 5 on that too. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about as far as criteria goes is ease of working with. One of the number one things that I hear complaints from people when you're talking about 3D printed models is that they're resin. You can't cut them. Kit bashing's a nightmare. I mean, I did my kit bash not too long ago where I had to drill into it with a Dremel tool and sand it, and resin powder just went everywhere, which is always a no-no. I sat and cut the shield on this model that I printed, and I was a little shocked. I am used to resin cutting in like shards. You know, it's almost like it breaks instead of cutting. I started cutting along the side of this, and it curled just like plastic does. Now, it didn't go for long, but it curled a little bit and then fell off, and then I just kind of kept going. This is easily the most customizable, friendly resin that I have ever used. It cuts. You can put scratches in it to make like battle damage and things like that, and it takes it all very well. And I was really surprised and shocked by that. So, ease of access or ease of customizability. As far as resin goes, I give it a 5. It's the best that I've ever dealt with. So what is that? That's a 23 out of 5, or 23 out of 25 for me. This resin has been so fun to use. And no, they're not promoting me or anything like that. They honestly reached out to me and asked me if I would do a video on printing things for other people, which is what I'm working on right now. I'm actually printing a Warhammer army for my son. So if you're interested in seeing that, please like, subscribe. That video will be coming out in the next couple of weeks as soon as I finish printing the thing. Because, hey, printing an army takes some time. And if you're curious, my last week's video, which is up here, is all about the stuff I learned while 3D printing a Warhammer army. And it was kind of shocking, the things that I didn't know. So you can always go and check that out. And give Wargamer Resin a try. It's fantastic. And I have really enjoyed working with it. And I hope to keep working with it again. But like I said, they're not paying me to say anything good about it. I could say whatever I wanted. But honestly, it's made this hard project that much better because it's been such a breeze to work with. I haven't printed a single failure yet, by the way, and I've got 6 of my motorcycle guys. I got an aggressor group that's already done. I've got a bunch of stuff in the works that's printing right now. And so it's been fun to do. So anyway, that's my 10 cents. And hopefully it means something. Thank you for joining us here at Polskate Games, where we're all about making your tabletop gaming experience the best that it can be. And I think this is something that will make it a little better. And as always, don't spend so much time building or printing your world that you forget to spend some time in it. Until next time. Round 2.